You, come here.
All right, guys. Hello, everyone. We're back again. Post-mortem. What the hell just happened then? That was the most emphatic victory I've seen in a long, long time. How could anyone lose a T20 match? None for 170. Is it bad bowling? Is it bad batting? What is it, guys? I've got David Graveney, Ozen Sheikh, and Alan Mullally, Alan Spiderman, Ali. We're going to get a few more people. I think Aparna Sadie's going to join us. She's just organising her trip where she's going to be representing Rev Sports at tennis. She's going to be at the Australian Open, US Open, all these different opens, the Wimbledon, of course, and French Open. She's about to start a new career there, which is great.
Right. Go back to the series that Pakistan played against England recently. One of the matches ended with a 10-wicket victory for Pakistan, where Rizwan Baba knocked off 200, let alone 160 odd, and won easily. So it can happen. And, you know, I've been talking to lots of very experienced people on this call, Norman. Not me, I meant the other two. That actually, if you don't take any wickets, limited over cricket, you will lose the game. Simple as that. You know, other than the fact that the wicket has to deteriorate really badly. You know, the opening bowlers for India have done a really good job. They just couldn't control the swing. And, you know, if you run up against Hales and Butler, then you've got to be calm about what you're doing. And in a sense, sometimes it's not your day. And that was the case today. So, but I still think they picked the wrong team. They should have had the leg spinner play. But I do agree with some of the comments at the end of the match. I'm not sure how much difference that would have made. Because those two, if they are in the right mood, then there's not any, unless it's extreme pace that Pakistan have, then I don't think anybody's going to stop them. Or stop us, actually, Norman. It's a terminology.
I tend to agree, David, and I said in the innings break as well that India was short of runs. Adelaide average is 160 on par, but you need to have 180 plus to be able to stop or put any pressure on England batting, because they've got power hitters from top right till Sam Curran as well. So to be able to have some sort of pressure on English batting, and plus you don't have pace. All the quicks that India had, they were all same kind of bowlers, and then they didn't pick someone who's spinning the ball away from them. Patel role was just not defined. He's not sure what his role is. He bowled flat, left arm spin into the bat, and also with Ashwin bowling quick. And if you look at their pace and change of paces, that was not on. They keep offering the back of the length deliveries with pace on 60-meter square boundaries. I think Alan said that in our first half as well. There was a lack of bowling full and straight. There's 88-meter boundary full, like straight boundary. Why wouldn't you try and hit the hole? Why wouldn't you try and hit the shoe? And there was no attempt. They kept bowling those. Even the slower balls were back of the length, which was sitting up in this pitch. And Alan probably have played in Adelaide. He knows that and we played last game against Australia. That pitch, even if you bowl back of the length slow, because the nature of the pitch is slow, it sits up nicely for the batters to go hard against it. And that's what both Hales and Butler kept doing, and they were not challenged at all. I think there was opportunity to play a spinner who can spin the ball away and have different varieties, with which they missed the trick, because they were relying too much on their top heavy batting to score 200, which never happened, because England bowling attack was still, even though the missing wood, but they still had enough variety to bowl really good. I think they bowl up front well, and then they finish off, apart from the last over, they finish off well.
What do you think, Alan?
Fourth ball, of the 14th over says it all. I sent you a message, no? It was by the righty, what's his name, medium pacer. It was a brilliant Yorker. And there's nothing more that Butler could do, or was a Hales one of them, than dig it out to cover, dot ball. It was a brilliant Yorker. Fourth ball, I put it on Twitter. You might have seen it, Norman. Fourth ball.
I saw it.
I'm like, put it on a 24-hour loop. Take it to bed with your video. Process it. Digest it. I'm not saying bowl Yorkers every ball, but you're going to bowl deep. What are these slow ball half trackers that just get whopped out the park? Offside, onside. It's just, when England were here for the World Cup before, and I watched them bowl, I'm just thinking, what are they doing? They're bowling these slow ball half trackers. It's like, please hit me wherever you want. I'm sorry. Okay, it's nice if you bowl 90 mile an hour, but even if you can't, what's wrong with a good Yorker? McGrath wasn't 90 mile an hour. There's a good Yorker. Pollock. You've got to bowl that at the right time. Set the field, the field accordingly to where you're going to direct your Yorker. Everyone seems to think bang into middle and leg. You don't have to. It's just unbelievable.
Right, I mean,
there's so many balls that will just length, hit me where you want. Back of a length slow balls, hit them even more where you want. Like, what is wrong with you people? And then, if you're going to bowl, what's the point bowling the ball here? You just hit it wherever you want, these guys. Hit it here, hit the guy in the head, follow through, and let him know, I'm going to knock your block off. Get them thinking a bit differently, get in their heads. They just go through the motions, boom, 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 boom. Then before you know it, right now, they're back in the dressing room thinking, what happened? Absolutely. Which I said to you before, Norman. Slow the game down. Take a step back. Move fine leg 3-4 yards to his left. Then move him 2 or 3 yards back. Do the same with mid on, long off, whatever you want. Bring him in 3 yards, then put him back. Slow the game down. While you're doing that, you know what you're doing. Clear your mind. What am I trying to bowl in this moment in time with this next delivery? Think about it. What do you want to do? Go and do it. Not just boom, 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 boom. These slower back of length half trackers. Gee whiz, that's just unbelievable. Think of the process, not the outcome.
Very true.
Mind you, that's what I think is for the whole of the T20 and other one-day games. But, credit where it's due. Those two boys played some pretty good shots.
That was very good cricketing shots.
But they were given a good hand. They were given a good hand by the bowlers, but gee whiz, they played some great shots.
Absolutely. It was pretty to watch the way Hales was hitting the ball, clearing the 88-meter boundary straight as well. And he's a power hitter. I think England have been missing him since the incident, since the last year and a bit. I think he's back. He's got Aussie pitches. He's performed last 2 big bashes here for Thunder as well. So he knows Aussie pitches really well. And I think he meant business. He wanted to prove the point from Pakistan series onwards. And I think he's done that. I think he's in there for long run. I don't know about where Roy is, but I think I will stick with Hales for long term because he's proven a point.
Great to watch.
So Jason Roy's also. I'd have Jason Roy back, to be honest with you. He was great. They're a good combination, to be honest.
Very good. I think Roy's back for the one day.
So what was your, Moses, when you were involved during the World Cup with Afghanistan, you played England, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We did play England in Perth. It was a bit of a sticky pitch because it's been raining and it was undercover, the pitch in Perth. So as you can see from the low score, the ball wasn't coming on, and anything that was on the length, it was skidding. It was not really a true bounce, and Wood was really difficult to face. And Sam Curran was the guy who exploded that pitch really well. He ended up with 5 for. He just hit that length where it was very hard to hit. And our boys trying to force the issue, and that's where they lost 5 wickets to him. His death bowling was really good, and they exploit the pitch really well. But having said that, England didn't get away from the game. We were in the game till 15th, 16th over, and you saw the wicket that Nabi got Stokes out. The ball just skidded and held the line and just beaten him. That was difficult pitch. If we were talking to Moeen Ali after the game, he was saying if there was another 20-30 runs scored by us, the game would have been very tricky because the pitch was really, really tricky after the rain and being undercover for so many days. So yeah, it was again Perth pitch being really the undercover pitch which was really difficult especially for a team from subcontinent to come in and play that steep bounce and pace. It was difficult.
Was it cold?
It was freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing when I was there too.
Yeah.
Remember, Alan, you and I were at this thing. We did the gloves and the bloody beanie.
In here, there's 12
Yeah, you're
degrees on
supposed
this
to be.
side.
David, I think Perth now is the new Southern England or Northern England. Honestly,
Where's the wind coming from? Is it coming from the Antarctic, the wind?
I think it's climate change and Green New Deals and global warming, and it's made the wind change. Oh, Bill Gates, he's done. He's waved a magic wand.
In England, fortunately, people don't have to switch the heating on yet, so but it's like 10 degrees above what it should normally be at this time of year. So our world's gone berserk.
Yeah, but normally here, historically in Perth, when you have a winter like this, you're in for a rather hot summer. And it all goes in cycles. So in 1980, oh God, what was it? 88, 89, I was playing club cricket here. And for South Perth, we won the toss. I thought, beauty. And we're batting. 46.8 degrees, right? We went out to bowl at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because everyone nearly died. It was 35 degrees. I thought, okay, we've got to go away with that one. The following Saturday, we had to bowl first, 47.2. Have some of that. You go off the build site when it's 37.5 because it's too hot. 47.2. But we had the Frio doctor coming up the Swan River. That was hot.
You need the ice jackets that they wore. So I heard part of the conversation around Jason Roy. I don't know how he can be accommodated because you also missed out best as well because he's injured. And there's no doubt that Battler's best position is open in the bat in a T20 match.
Agreed.
So you've actually got 4 people to go into 2 spots, basically.
Exactly. And I think Roy is in the one-day squad, so it'd be interesting how he responds if he gets a game.
It'll be interesting, actually, because he hasn't played. It went on this sort of, I need a rest because I'm mentally exhausted because I've got a few low scores.
Help me on that one.
And I'm not sure why they can't get back on the horse and just get some runs in any form of cricket, red ball, white ball, whatever it is. Unless he was injured, so I might be being a little harsh, but I just think that best those records and best. So it'd be interesting when you get to the IPL auction how much money these guys go for because they are serious players, and it wasn't as if Salt didn't do anything in Pakistan because he scored some runs as well. So I've always thought, and I do think that actually when we get to the final, though the memories of 1992, which is way beyond most of the people on this call because that was 30 odd
So who
years
won the 92? It was Pakistan, wasn't it?
Well, just have a look at the highlights, Norman, of some of the most bizarre umpiring I've ever seen.
True.
And if they'd had
2 of the best deliveries you ever see as well, I think.
Yeah, so it will be but I do think if you've got batsmen like Butler, like Hales, or anybody really attacking, I think extreme pace and Pakistan have extreme pace is the one way that you can cause a few issues. The only problem is if it's misdirected pace, it flies off the bat even farther.
Absolutely.
But MCG is a big ground.
So,
you have got some defence as far as that's concerned. But it'll be interesting. You know, I think people will think that England should win. But Pakistan they seem to. I think they're in their second chance saloon. They wouldn't have expected to get out of their group, and they haven't.
True.
So
True.
I think they think they've got a free.
Hello, you clown.
Oh, look, David, Alan's showing his new puppy, which is already 30 kilos.
And how many shoes you got left, Al? Or not?
You know what? No, he doesn't eat the shoes. He's having a bit of chow down on my socks a minute ago. And I said, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? He's a French Mastiff. I speak to him very polite, you know, very posh. His name's Robert.
What size do they grow to, Al?
He is going to be about 70 kilos.
Good God.
So he'd be bigger than a Rottweiler.
You can't carry him now. How are you going to carry him then?
Excuse me, I had during the break, when we went off, I took him down the park for a walk. And I brought from the shop. This lovely ramp extends out, put it on the boot. Tennis ball, loves his tennis ball, follows me up the ramp into the back, throw the boot, the ball in, ramp, in the boot, shut the boot, he's in the back seat, down the park, and he walks back off as well. Hey?
So, Moshe, what's your plan now, having Afghanistan done as well as they have?
Yeah, so look, we've got a one-day series coming up against Sri Lanka, and then there's a test series against, a full series against Zimbabwe, with 2 test matches, 3 one-days and 3 T20s. So it's a little bit of a program to lead into all the Big Bash and other leagues and IPLs and whatnot. So the boys will get go away and play those franchise cricket before we finish off this cricket season, and then after that it's a full-on season with tour to Bangladesh, test match against Australia, 3 one-days against Pakistan, and then Asia Cup in Pakistan, and then World Cup in India. So it's a bit of a full-on program. Second half of 23. So after IPL. So hopefully I'll stay involved with them and go to India for the one-day World Cup.
So is the Asian Cup played every year?
No, Asia Cup's every 2 years. So last year's this year's Asia Cup was missed because of COVID and everything.
Oh, right. So you played back to back because of COVID. Right.
Because of COVID, yeah, that's right. So Asia Cup is every 2 years, similar to the T20 Cup.
And is that done at under 19 level as well, at senior level?
I think it is under 19 as well. So both Asia Cups are both 19 levels and both the senior.
Because you had some good players in the last World Cup. So I think Afghanistan were given quite rightly a bit of leeway about age.
Mm.
And I think that needs to be withdrawn in the interest of the other teams.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's true. That's true. But I think that's one thing now. They've got ICC Academy access for quite a lot. So they're training there. Their camps are held there. So most of the team that is, because obviously with the lack of infrastructure in Kabul and the situation, every training session is held in ICC Academy. So we are getting together 14th and 15th. So Trotty's flying out on the 14th. So I'm flying out here 14th. I haven't got my flights, but they're looking at either 14th or 15th. So all the teams getting assembled on the 14th and 15th in Dubai for a week-long camp before we go to Kandy. So the 3 one-days in Kandy.
And what do you think the opportunity would be to try and negotiate some tours here, Norman, live on your program? What's the opportunity of getting the under-19s to the Middle East to play?
I reckon there'll be good opportunities, definitely.
Because we can certainly, for instance, I'm leaving on the 3rd of December. I'm not saying it should be done now, but in the future. I'm trying to get the ECB to use the Middle East more often as a training camp for counties, under-19s or whatever. So the under-19 group, before they go and tour Australia, are having a training camp in Abu Dhabi. And I just think it would be a really good area because playing Afghanistan is tough.
We lost David. Didn't come back. But it's good questions, David, that was asking you. So that's exciting. But have you actually been to Afghanistan itself?
No. Fortunately, I haven't, or fortunately or unfortunately. But the pictures that I've seen where a lot of guys come from. A lot of guys have shown me where the country area or the city area they come from. It is beautiful. Like there's snowy mountains, there's lakes and whatnot. It's beautiful. I'll share some pictures with you, Norman, so you can post it up on your social media. They come from different areas, especially guys like Mujib, Rash. They come from the mountain area where it snows in winter and it snows quite a lot. And then during summer, they've got nice springs and lakes and whatnot. It's beautiful. So I'll share some pictures and whatnot, so you can share it. You can share it with your audience via your social media.
Now I noticed Chris Verner's made a truckload of comments, and Angel Angel's made quite a few. Our Earth is best. There's a lot of comments. Like interesting point from Zubnik's, whatever it is. India not letting their players play more in other conditions such as BBL and blast, it affecting the damage in their world tournaments. It's not a bad point. If they don't get to play on Australian pitches in a T20 format, they don't get the same luck that Alex Hales or George Butler get.
Yeah, and I said that before. Hales have played here for last 3 years. He's played with us in Thunder as well, and he has done really well over the last 2 years. As you know, his numbers been really good, and all the other players we've had. James Wince played for us. Jordan, CJ played for us in Sydney Sixers as well. So a lot of guys have had English guys have had a lot of exposure playing in Big Bash, playing in Aussie grounds, big grounds. So they know. How the conditions are. Butler as well has played for Thunder as well. Joe Root has played for Thunder. Owen Morgan played for Thunder. So there's a lot of these English guys have come around and have got a lot of experience playing in Aussie conditions for Big Bash as well. So I think it's a valid point. Big Bash still holds a good value. I know the other competitive leagues are now around a similar time. So it'd be interesting going forward. How would that pan out?
Just on the IPL for a moment, we talk about the auction and how much they get in auction, right? But the amount of money they get pre-auction to be part of the team up front is more than double what the auction gives you. Some of the players are getting 7, 8, 9 million as the lead players of the team prior to auction. So the key is if you get offered a pre-auction offer, take it. It's going to be better than auction.
True.
Very interesting. So I'm going to be spending a bit of time, or Alan certainly as well, going to be in India next year a lot with the likes of Bruno Chimba, who's setting us up to do a lot of work there. David, why don't you get involved? I'd love you to get, or even more, most you're already involved with so many things, but we should get you involved. If you don't, well, you're going to be with Afghanistan, so your diary is full, I'm sure. But there's a lot of coaching roles that need to be taken on in India that are coming up, and when Alan's going to be there with his bowling, you David, would be immense value, especially for under 19s. And I'm not talking about BCCI necessarily. I'm talking about general. We can't hear you, David.
It's getting up with technology.
Yeah, it's
Can't hear you.
we can see you clear as a bell. You can hear us, but we can't hear you. Speak, David. No, we're not getting her. Is your wife there? She's good, or one of your family? While David sorts it out,
I
want to
was,
hear David's point of view. Is that you then, David?
Almost.
David? No, he can't. We'll keep talking until David fixes his volume.
Okay.
I think the ICC and match referees, just in my humble opinion as a bowler, former bowler, fast bowler, they've got to calm down and let bowlers be bowlers. Where's the sledging gone? Excuse me, you don't have to be abusive, like personal. I'm sorry. Bring back the sledging. Get into the batsman's face. There's nothing better than a good, quick bowler who is getting in the batsman's face. The ball whizzing past their snot box. Keeper's taking it up here, and they're following through, and they're right in your face, giving it both barrels. Do you remember when Alan Donald had spells to Atherton at Trent Bridge and had him caught around the wicket? Remember that one? I don't know if you do. So 97. And he bowled quick. He said, come on, buddy. And it was on for young and old. There's nothing better than a good quick bowler getting stuck into the batter and letting him know he's getting stuck into him. It's what cricket's all about to me. Mr. ICC and Mr. Match Referee, get a bed. Let them play some cricket. They'll bowl like them in robots. Oh, bowled that one. I better look sideways at the batter. I'm going to get fined. Oh, can't do that. They need to go to bed. Let these guys be fast bowlers, in my humble opinion.
Agree.
I played, when did I play? The Boxing Day Test. What was that, 98? About 400 years ago. And my batting was rubbish. I did so well. I scored 5 ducks and 6 knocks, right? I was doing brilliantly. And I went out to bat. And Australians get stuck into us. They like to get stuck in verbally. And it was brilliant. And McGrath followed through and blah, blah, blah. And I said, pitch up with a few nice little words. See where you go. And he did. He went for 4, right? And again. And he did. Then he went to give me the hip and shoulder, right? Now I turned around, excuse me. you talk to a real Irishman now, not McKay who bottled it. I'll see you at the back afterwards. And we got stuck in, blah, blah, blah. The match referee, John Crell or whatever, came into the dressing room when we were back out in the field, right? So I'm not very happy with how Alan and Debacle are getting stuck into each other. I'm going to have to fine them. Fine me for what? So anyway, Bumble turns around. Now, you've got to bear in mind, I rarely get fired. I'm pretty chilled, right? Especially when it comes to batting some crap. By the way, I just got a massive 16. I felt like an all-rounder right after scoring 4 runs in 6 knocks. I threw the bat down. Gloves went flying across the room. Boots, the whole lot. I used a few words, and well, I said, "Come on, chaps, let's go and bowl these Australians out, all right?" But a bit different. It was a bit different to that. So yeah, Crow said to Bumble about fining me and McGrath because he tried to hit his shoulder me, and I'm off at the back for a punch up. And Bumble says, "What are you on about?" He goes, "Well, the way they were carrying on." And Bumble's brilliant. He grabbed nose. He goes, Al came in here. He's in shock. He just came. He sat down. He took his pads and looked at me and said, "Coach, what is going on with these Australians? I just don't know what it's all about. They're abusing me and swearing at me and cursing me, and it's just so wrong." He's like, he said to Crow, he said, "Al was so distraught, we had to put our arm around him to get him back out on the field." The Crow then says, "I'll tell you what, I'll just find McGrath then." And he got a suspended $2.5 grand fine, and he got done a few months later in the Caribbean. But it was the crowd, there was Balmy Army, and they went berserk. And even Adam Holliott was that's one of his favourite moments in cricket. And when you think you miss me batting, it was that bit of batting because I got stuck into them. And we went out, we actually defended 172, I think, and bowled them out 1 by 12 runs. And it was brilliant. I went mad.
All right, guys.
What are you saying?
A few comments. I want to talk about the game again. Obviously, India were walloped by England in this game in terms of the result, especially. Now, what's left? We've got Pakistan versus England in Melbourne on probably a worn pitch with the bowlers coming to play more. The Pakistan bowling line is fantastic. England have got a good all-round game. What's going to happen? Tell us your scenarios, guys. Start with you, David.
Well, until this game, I thought the wickets were going in the way that actually posting a score was the best way to play, because a lot of the teams were struggling to chase, but obviously that didn't happen today. I think at the MCG, runs on the board will be the critical thing. And I think as it happened, in both sides, how they start off their innings with their openers is going to be critical. I think what has been a really good thing for Pakistan in the last match is a lot of guys other than the openers got in and got some runs. So whereas if you look at the other side, fantastic England won by 10 wickets, but it now means a lot of the batsmen in the middle have not been in the middle for quite some time, because the last game they played was a while ago. So it would be a week before they've actually had a bat in the middle. I'm not sure how much difference that makes, but I do think that when England played in Pakistan, they knew that if they could get the openers out, then they were halfway through their batting. I think that they've shown now with bringing Harris into the team, some of the others having a bit more form. I think Shadab is a fantastic cricketer all round in terms of fielding, bowling, batting, and just his demeanour he's quite a relaxed guy and he just plays with a smile on his face. I think he's critical to the way they go. Nazim Shah, who actually played for Gloucester for a bit last summer, is a very young man, but he is growing into his role as far as what he's doing. So the combination of the seamers that they have, I think, together with, Shadab is a little bit like Nareen, the way he bowls with his hand behind his back. So I think they're really talented. And you've always, when I've ever an hour's played against Pakistan, that if they have their mojo, if that's the right expression, they are a major threat. If they're not happy with the weather or the lunches or something like that, they fall apart like you never believe. I think they have some momentum. England, I think, they're just a bit of a juggernaut. England, I think they're just, and I think the way that Josh has captained them is a little bit like Owen Morgan. He's pretty relaxed about what happens, and I think that thing about when Wade blocked Wood in the practice match, and didn't appeal and try to run him out. It was actually quite a clever thing. That actually he was trying to do the right thing public relations wise. Didn't affect the game because England won anyway. But I think they have a really good spirit. And the one thing that I would be worried about is that when you play a game like that, nobody else has been to the crease. So I think that could have an effect. I think that Wood, they probably would need Wood. But I think if he hasn't been fit today, I don't see how he can be fit on Sunday. Or it would be a bit of a risk.
I reckon he'll play. I reckon he'll play.
Yeah.
So
I
personally think I've always thought that England would win the competition, but I do think in some ways Pakistan are a bit more of a threat than India. And to be fair, if Kohli hadn't played an extraordinary innings, they would have won that game then, because the rest of them, Pandya was trying to burst the ball and couldn't hit it anywhere. So I think England will win, but I would be very conscious of the threat of the pace that Pakistan can produce on the day.
I tend to agree with David, Norman. I think the only thing that I see in England is they tried Stokes as a new ball bowler, and if Wood's not playing, I think some of the middle overs, tough overs, if Sam Curran bowls, then they're worried about the death bowling, because hasn't really worked out who's going to be their lead death bowler. I know Sam Curran, they bowled him up front because Kohli matches up with left arm seamer, so he bowled 2 overs up front to bowl at Kohli today. But how they use Curran, whether they use him middle and then depth, or whether if CJ is playing, then CJ is a death bowler as well. But then he can be hittable, because today he got hit as well. So it's interesting. The other thing that will be a factor which I'll see is at MCGs, how much ball swings, because it's been raining there again. It's been wet. Forecast is for showers on Sunday as well. So it'd be a gloomy day. How much ball is going to swing? How much preparation on the deck it is? I think that these factors will come in play, where the spinners are still going to have an impact on the game with wet ball or something. But again, it's going to be a good contest. I'm hoping it's going to be a really good contest between bat and ball for both sides, as Pakistan's middle order started to do well. Iftikhar has got 250s. Harris is a good inclusion in that floating role. Shan Masood is playing well. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And with Babar and Rizwan getting some runs in this last game as well, that helped. So England middle order hasn't been in the middle, as David said, by the time Sunday comes around, for over a week or so. Not everyone's had a decent hit in the middle. Stokes still had one good innings. So Salt has not had any hit in the middle since.
He didn't get a chance to bat today.
He didn't get a chance to bat today.
He didn't get a
Exactly.
chance to get in the middle. How frustrating him. The team would be happy, but he would be annoyed a bit inwardly.
He would
got
want
selected
to.
to get a play.
Absolutely. So I think with pace, with 4 bowlers with 145 plus, it's going to be interesting if they bowl good areas in MCG with big square boundaries. It's going to be interesting how they control. And Naseem Shah's slow ball, back of the length slow ball, has been very effective all through the last 3 or 4 games. His change of pace has been really good. And Haris Rauf has been really fantastic in death as well. And Shaheen last 2 games got wickets, so he started to get his rhythm. So I'm liking the balance of both teams. I think it's going to be a cracker game. I think England have got a bit of an edge over Pakistan, but not by a distance.
I think the difference also, Motion, is the fact that Shahid is now back playing and getting his match fitness back. He wasn't available in Pakistan, so actually their bowling is now much stronger than it was before. So
true.
I think that if I won the toss, I'd be bowling first, as did England today, as did Babar Azam's team. I effectively did the same thing. So anyway, I think it's going to be a great match. Alan, who's going to win on Sunday?
I don't like to predict who's going to win. You know what? Pakistan, their batting, their bowling is brilliant. I think their bowling, when you can bowl properly fast, batsmen do funny things. Our bowling's there and thereabouts. All around, we're a very good team. But as Grav said, the only worry for us is our boys haven't had much of a bat because the order's been too good. Here's the deal. It's very evenly matched, right? However, like Grav said, and I've played against Pakistan, it depends what side of the bed they get out on. If they get out on the right side of the bed, they're brilliant. If they get out on the wrong side of the bed, they might as well not turn up.
Well, I'll tell you what will happen, Al, is that they will get lots of messages from their former captain, who's lying in a hospital with a shot leg.
Bullet in his leg.
Yeah, so I think that
we don't want to get political, Grav.
I think that might inspire them a bit. He's quite an inspirational person for them. So, and actually, I quite like the coaches that they've had. That Saqlain's obviously one of them, but a person I should have spotted before, Mohammed Youssef. Now, he is one of the better players that have ever played. So he's quite brilliant. Calm about what he does. And Matthew Hayden, I think they've got a really good mix in terms of who's actually coaching them. So. I still think that England will win, but I do think, Norman, that it's going to be, I think, a really close game. Not dissimilar to their semi-final against New Zealand. I don't think it's going to be people standing there and blazing it all around the park. I think that every run will be vital. What was actually a difference for me was the quality of the Pakistan fielding in the semi-final, which was electric, really, compared to sometimes they can have. I'm not saying like Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's fielding in this tournament has been something off the radar virtually. But Pakistan can have moments in the field which aren't great, but I thought they were really on the ball in terms of what they were doing. So.
One thing, David, we know is common in backroom support staff is Aussie influence in both teams.
Yeah.
So we can't neglect that, being Hussey and Modi being with English camp and Matthew Hayden in Pakistan camp. So there's a bit of an Aussie flavour in both teams as well. So that's something. It's going to be interesting.
Well, it will be, but it's and they've recruited the right sort of guys, particularly I think Mike Hussey for England. I think he's and he's played a lot of county cricket for lots of counties. Played for Durham, played for Gloucester. So yeah, that's actually been mixed received in the UK because it's not an insult to English coaches, but you basically want. There are lots of good young English coaches that actually you want to hopefully see them engaged. Hopefully that might happen in the future. So how's Trotty gone down with your guys?
Trotty's been he's been trying to get some of the professionalism into the system, because obviously these guys do not have infrastructure and they don't have that facilities and everything that all the other countries enjoy. So he's been very influential in that type of things, trying to make sure that the guys train professionally, they conduct themselves professionally. He's been really good in terms of that. His man management has been sometimes obviously he struggles. Obviously some guys with the language barrier and whatnot, and they don't understand some of the guys the needs and the commitment of professional cricket. I think that they sometimes can take some things for granted, and I think Trotty's been good in trying to get all that implemented into the system. So that's a really good win, and boys have been responding. Obviously,
Are they
it's challenging.
all based in the UAE?
True.
All the players, they all live there, do they?
They all live there. They've got the residential visas for Dubai, so they all live there. And Abu Dhabi cricket has been very kind for them. They're churning quite a lot of money for them as well when they hold camps and whatnot. And that's what I was going to say when your call dropped off, that it'd be good if you're bringing the under-19s there, and if there's Afghan under-19 opportunity there to play a few games.
Not necessarily this time, but in the future.
Absolutely.
We're basically leaving the end of November and coming back the 15th of December. And hoping it's taking like 21 players, so that'll be reduced to 15. or 16 to go to Australia. But I need to declare my own personal interest. As the guy who's president of cricket in Abu Dhabi is actually a guy who I went to school with, who used to be the Minister for Education in the UAE. Is now got an interesting title. You like this, Norman? He's now the minister in the UAE, the Minister for Tolerance, whatever that means in the UAE. So I assume that means you've got to stick to the rules, or anything something unfortunate might happen to you. So, but he's a mad cricket lover. So I'll have hopefully I'll get to have an audience in his palace, and we go from there. But I think it's something that would be helpful to both sides. And
Absolutely.
I think that's the right sort of area for both sides to meet, basically.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Yeah. Let's talk more about that, and I'll pass on some context to you as well. So that would be good.
Well, yeah, I'll just send your email address, and we'll go from there. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think it's England win, Norman. England win, and it'll be a close game. What I'm interested to know is, because obviously with finals in any sport, the tickets are bought in advance without knowing who the finalists are. And given the array of Indian fans that I assume were thinking of getting to the final, what do they do with their tickets? Because if they turn up, are they going to support Pakistan, or are they going to support England?
There are a lot of tickets on sale. There are a lot of tickets
out.
On social media. If you look at there, a lot of tickets are on sale, especially from a group of Indians who bought the tickets thinking they're going to Melbourne. There are a lot of tickets are on sale.
A lot of Indian supporters will actually back for Pakistan, won't they? I've got a Pakistani who's just come here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So I was just wondering what's going to happen there, because obviously from a commercial sponsors and the crowd, India playing Pakistan again would have been the best result for them. So I don't think they can rustle up 90,000 expats to rock up there. So
I'll tell you, David, we came from Perth to Melbourne the day India and Pakistan were playing, and we landed. And what we were trying to go after we checked into our hotel.
Hannah's got to go now.
Congratulations, David. Congratulations for England.
Thank you.
Look at the size of this unit. All right.
Hey, Alan. Good to see you.
Oh, look at this unit. Hello.
I think the dog's more sensible than Alan, actually. So
I know how to make sense. So,
we're going to wrap it up, guys. We've had a great chat, guys.
Fantastic.
Get together before the final. On the day of the final, we'll see what times we've got. But we're going to leave this show now. We're going to sort things out. India's got to change the whole plan of their bookings, and England are now going to be there and with bells on. You can gloat as much as you like. I can see Richard Vernon, Chris Vernon making comments.
Definitely an Australian talking there.
They turn up.
We've been out for a while now.
And it's still great, Norman, so don't worry.
You deserve the gloat, David. Now, thanks, Moses, again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you very much.
See you guys.
Brilliant.
Cheers, mate.
All right, guys.
Right,
Talk very soon. Thanks, viewers. Thank you very much.
Speak later,
Thanks, Moses. Thanks, Alan.
No worries, mate. John, you get the way. Hey, can you believe he's put on
all right, guys,
almost 8
we're going
kilos?
to say goodbye now. We're going to say goodbye.
Yeah.
We'll talk very soon again. Eyes on cricket. We've got lots of platforms to talk on. Thanks again for this coverage. Thanks again, Alan. I'll talk to you later. Ciao, ciao.
Looking forward to the big game.
Thanks, Alan. Really great to have you on. Ciao,
All
ciao.
right.